Hey guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life. Now I hope you're all fit and well. Now, as I uploaded a video last night to this channel, another short trailer was released. And not only that, I came up with another huge theory while last night's video was uploading. So I just had to create this other video today to fill you all in. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you stick around until the end of the video, I will be responding to some of your comments from my previous video. Okay, so before we talk about this big theory that I've come up with, let's talk about last night's latest trailer that dropped on us. So the trailer starts with Joan saying something in the background. Now, I've listened to it about 6 or 7 times, and I can't quite grasp what she's saying. But from what I can make out, she is saying something like, "I'd help you to control myself," which doesn't really make much sense to me, so there's probably a word or something that I'm misunderstanding, but it's okay, because in the start of this trailer, we see Joan looking around in, I think she's in a unit, but then it's followed to this freezer scene. So we see a freezer door getting closed down, and as the door is shutting down, a hand comes up and presses against this freezer door. So someone is being put in the freezer and locked in so they can't escape. Now, we saw this in another trailer of a hand coming out of the freezer, but none of us are sure who this could be. Who is being locked in this freezer and why? And who is doing it? In the next part of the trailer, we see a knife, and it looks like the person holding the knife is using it to sort of slice this towel in the kitchen. And then we see Joan. So it looks like that it's Joan who has this knife and is being rather psychotic with it. Like, what does Joan have planned with this knife? And the fact that we see Joan in the kitchen could indicate that she might have something to do with the freezer thing, or she might be the person who ends up in the freezer. Joan is then saying to Dr. Miller something terrible will happen, which we've already seen in another trailer. We then see Lou and Mullet outside the door of the educational centre or the library, and they are spying on something or someone in there. In the next scene, we see Mari and Lou in a cell together. Now Mari goes to walk out, but Lou grabs Mari and pulls her back. So I'm thinking maybe Lou is going to try and force Mari to do something, or maybe Lou wants Mari to help her find Reb's killer. We then see Ferguson with string or some sort of wire, and she's creeping up behind Vera as if she's about to put it around Vera's neck while Vera's back is turned. Like, what the hell is going on? I really hope Rita or somebody comes in and saves Vera just in time. We then have Sheila telling Mari that things are unraveling. Now, we heard this line spoken in the background of another trailer, and at the time I couldn't work out whose voice it was, but now we can confirm that it's Sheila saying this, so I definitely think Sheila is going to shock us all this year. We then have Mr. Jackson walking through one of the staff corridors and through a door looking really pissed off. That's probably Anne Reynolds pushing his buttons again, or maybe he's just been demoted from governor and this is him storming off, and then Linda's going to be taken over as governor. We then have Lou and Reb in a steamy love scene in the unit. Now, I think this could be a dream sequence that Lou Kelly is having, because if you look at the bright lights in the background, it just doesn't look like a normal scene to me. So I think this could be Lou thinking about Reb after Reb's death, probably in episode 2. We've then got a scene of Lou in Anne Reynolds' office, and Lou is going crazy and is throwing everything off Anne's desk. And like I've said many times before, Anne is and was always going to double cross Lou in some sort of way, and this could even be Anne just being a bitch to Lou and refuses to let her go to Reb's funeral. Ali is then looking up at something or someone. Maybe someone is walking up to Ali and is about to threaten her or harm her in some shape or form. Like, I'm not being funny, Ali should not be left alone this year, especially because she's in a wheelchair. Someone should be with her at every second of every day, in my opinion. Even if Ali is in the unit, someone should be somewhere in that unit with her just to keep an eye on things. We then have cameras being moved by the broomsticks, and Judy is watching something in the laundry, and then it cuts to the Boomer and Lou Kelly fight scene in the laundry. So once again, another trailer with a few new scenes added. I mean, this is just crazy. Like, every new trailer I see, I'm just like, wow, absolutely amazing. Okay guys, I have a huge spoiler now. Okay, so on Radio Times in the UK, they have recently released episode 2 description. So if you don't want to know what it reads, then look away now. Lou finds herself herself comforted by Mari, not realising her part in the murder of Reb. Boomer agrees to film salacious prison videos, and Rita reconciles with her estranged father. So, right then, Rita is still on the outside in episode 2, and this kind of makes sense just by all the things we've seen in the trailers, because this gives Lou Kelly taking over as top dog that storyline to grow just before Rita comes back. I've said previously that I think Lou will take over as top dog and make life hell for everyone after what happens to Reb. And Lou is going to really relish in this situation and cause absolute mayhem. But then Rita will come back. And Rita is going to be Lou's biggest obstacle in this storyline, which is why we've seen a couple of fight scenes between Rita and Lou recently. Also, I know we all knew that Reb was going to die, but this is the final confirmation now that Reb is dead, and he is going to be murdered. But what shocked me though is that it kind of confirms that Mari does play some sort of part in Reb's murder. Now, I'm not saying that she was directly involved or she knew what was going to happen to Reb, or you know, I don't think she is the person who does it, but we all know that Mari and Sheila are going to work together and do something in the first episode. Now, according to one of the episode descriptions for episode 1, Sheila does go rogue, so I think Sheila is going to be the main instigator for Reb's death, and because Mari was working with Sheila before Sheila went rogue, Mari is going to be, or at least feeling partly responsible. Like, we don't even know how Reb is going to die. I mean, it's going to be full of twists and turns. But I tell you what, with Lou being comforted by Mari after Reb's death, even though Mari is somehow part of what happened, it's not going to end very well for Mari. Now, Boomer agrees to film salacious videos. Now, I'm not gonna lie guys, I had to Google salacious. But basically what it means is something sexual. So Boomer is probably going to film some kind of sexual videos to give to Gavin and his weird website. Now, like, I really do think Gavin is just going to use Boomer for his own sick fantasies and then just drop her. So I really don't think Boomer is going to get pregnant, not unless she somehow manages to jump onto Dr. Miller's lap. Also guys, I just quickly wanted to point out something that I missed from yesterday's Wentworth Unlocked documentary. Remember the scene where everyone is giving Boomer their dessert? And I wasn't too sure at the time whether if this was going to be at the start of the season when Addie makes Boomer top dog, or if it was going to be a separate scene and it was going to be something that happens maybe towards the end of the season and maybe Boomer was going to end up as the final top dog with the support from everyone. Well, I realised that this scene here where Lou puts the dessert on Boomer's head, this is part of the same scene, as you can see all the dessert bowls on the table. So what I think is going to happen is everyone will give Boomer their desserts after Ali promotes her, and Boomer is going to be really happy and over the moon, and then all of a sudden, splat. Lou comes along and puts her dessert bowl on Boomer's head, and Boomer is going to be back to reality, and this will probably happen in the first episode after Ali promotes Boomer to top dog. So anyway, that's the spoiler description for episode 2 and screenshots done with. Now it's time to talk about a massive theory of mine. Right then guys, before we talk about the theory, I just wanted to tell you a story of why it wasn't in yesterday's video. So yesterday was a bit of a mad day for me. I woke up and I finally got to see Wentworth Unlocked, the documentary, and then I had to there's so much information in there, I had to go through it then, take screenshots, and I saw things that I didn't see. I then had to type up the video to give me some bullet points so I don't forget anything, and as I'm halfway through making the video, I then had to go out because I was going to meet some friends for dinner. I then came home and then I had to finish the video, and it was finished. I created it on my software and it was ready to upload to YouTube. So I uploaded it and I had typed everything out, everything was ready, it was uploading, and then it got to about 30% uploaded to YouTube. It had about 20 minutes, half hour left to go before you guys got to see it. Then all of a sudden, something just came to me, because I rewatched the documentary with my other half Peter because he was working yesterday morning, so I watched it 2 or 3 times. But when I watched it with Peter, there was something in the documentary and I thought, wow, something's just come to me. So anyway, my video's uploading, so I decided to message Michelle, just because I knew Michelle would be making a video herself, and I was hoping, I kept my fingers crossed that Michelle hadn't finished editing or anything yet, and she wasn't uploading her video at the same time as me, so I dropped her a message. Actually, I've got the messages here. So I messaged Michelle last night at 9:02 p.m. while my video was uploading, and I said, oh my god, I have a new video uploading as we speak, but I've just come up with a theory while it's uploading. So I told Michelle what the theory was. I'm not going to read it yet, so I'm going to tell you in just a moment. And Michelle said she was laughing and she was about an hour away from finishing editing, and she just take screenshots and everything, and you know, her fingers were hurting. And then she said, oh my god, Christ, can you stop your upload and add that in, as in the theory that I just told Michelle. And I sent her a photo then of the video uploading, and then Michelle said that's one hell of a theory. So I then said to Michelle, haha, do you want to use it in your video if you can squeeze it in? Like if Michelle had the time and it wasn't going to cause too much work for her. I said that you're more than welcome to, and I'll talk more depth about it in my next video, which is going to be this one. And I can't believe this has only just come to me. Michelle replied, of course I can add it in, I'll give you full credit and I'll let everyone know to stay tuned because you'll be talking about it in your channel soon. And this is also Michelle's reactions.
And I think it was meant to be for me to have to take the screenshots over again, because had I not had to take the screenshots, I would have been saving the video already, so it worked out in the end. Now that I have to take the screenshots, I can add your theory. It's a good one. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So now we're going to talk about this theory, and I see my cat, well, my kitten, my baby boy Jacko. Jacko, come and say hello to the Wentworth world. Come on. Hello, come on. Oh, hello, gorgeous. So this is my baby boy, and he is a descendant from Frankie, my other cat, and yes, Frankie was named after Frankie from Wentworth. And Frankie had a litter of 6 kittens last year because we couldn't get her done due to COVID and all the vet places were closed. Even now, you can't get your cat neutered in most places in Wales unless it's an emergency. It's really weird. So we had a litter of 6, and I would have kept every single one of them if I could afford it. But we ended up keeping this one here, so that's Jacko. So he just wanted to say hello to everyone as well. Let me know in the comments box below, did you name any of your pets after any Wentworth characters? So a huge thank you to Michelle there for including my theory for me in her newest video, because obviously I'm just so thick I didn't put it in yesterday's video. But make sure you go and subscribe to her channel right now, because Michelle has been firing out the Wentworth videos like there's no tomorrow. You won't be disappointed. Okay, so my huge theory. So I'm just gonna read it out of how I sent it to Michelle, and then I will talk in more detail. I reckon we are all wrong about Judy planting a bomb in the prison. Instead, I think Judy is going to have a suicide vest and blow herself up in front of everyone and the prison, taking as many people with her as she possibly can. She may even grab Anne Reynolds when she blows as a final act of revenge. Now, where the hell did I get this theory from? I can hear you all wondering. Well, when I was watching the documentary last night with Peter, and I think it was my 3rd watch, I was keeping an eye on things that I may have missed earlier on, and there was this moment where Judy is having stuff wrapped around her by some sort of the crew members, like all over her body. And while I was watching it, I actually said to Peter, I don't know or understand what's happening there. Like, the crew are clearly prepping Judy up before she goes to film, and at one point the actress who plays Judy is speaking in the background, and she is saying that she's about to film her final scenes for Wentworth. And this is what has given me this crazy idea. So the crew are wrapping something around Judy under her teal jumper. So what if Judy's final act of terror is to wear a suicide vest, and she will then make sure she is somewhere in the prison where there are many people and blow herself up in front of everyone and half of the prison. And like I I said, how nail-biting would it be if Judy grabs someone just before she detonates? Like, I mean, it would make sense for Judy to grab Anne Reynolds, but maybe it won't be Anne Reynolds. Maybe Judy will grab Vera, or even Ali. I mean, it would be Judy's ultimate final act of terror, and let's face it, even if she doesn't get extradited over to the USA, she ain't getting out of prison to continue her terror campaign on the outside. So if she is as crazy as I think she is, this could be her final act, and my god, wouldn't it be shocking television? Like, it would be so brutal and so unexpected for her to actually be a suicide bomber terrorist. I also have another thought. What if Judy grabs Anne Reynolds and puts the vest onto her and sends Anne into an area of the prison before she blows Anne up? Can you imagine how nail-biting it will be? Can you imagine how, like, Anne Reynolds will be pleading for her life and Judy will be loving it? Like, can you just even imagine that for one moment? I know it all sounds crazy, I know, but the writers have all said they wanted to make this final season the biggest yet, and it's going out with a huge bang. And I tell you what, this would be pretty shocking. And with Wentworth being as brutal as it is, we would probably see Judy or Anne or whoever blown up to smithereens. Like, I don't think there would be a cutaway. We would see them blow apart, and it would be so bloody. There will be bodies flying everywhere, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if certain characters or background characters, they're laying on the floor, still alive, but with limbs missing. I mean, that's what happens during a terrorist attack. It would be absolutely devastating. This would of course put the prison into chaos, and let's just say Judy does put the vest on Anne or someone else. After Judy detonates it, Judy can run and maybe try to escape. This might even be the moment where Luke Kelly goes for her escape while the prison is in chaos. This will also explain why in the documentary we see sniper police, an ambulance and fire crew. Let me know your thoughts on this theory in the comments box below, guys. Have I just blown your minds? No pun intended. Okay guys, well before I wrap up this video, it's now time for some comment replies. And we have Liz Brown. OMG, it's 3:30 PM here and I'm about to explode, Craig. Let's go. Liz Brown, thank you for your comment. You're always leaving me lovely comments and I thought it was about time I gave you a shout out. And we have Steve G. Maybe Eve used to babysit Joan as a child and she got involved with Joan's father. He could have killed Joan's mother for Eve. Ooh, one hell of a theory there, Steve. That could be what the history thing is all about. You could be onto something there. Loving that theory. Thank you for your comment. And we have Stephen Elliott. How can we watch Wentworth Unlocked in the UK? Stephen, it is on YouTube. Guys, if you've not seen Wentworth the Unlocked documentary yet, go onto YouTube, search for Wentworth Unlocked, and search for, like, you can put in the filters within the last week, and it's there, and then you can watch it. Thank you for your comment, Stephen. And we have Asma Amazing. Oh my god, did you notice Ferguson is trying to put a string around Vera? I just slowed it down. Oh my god. Yes, I did. Doesn't it just look absolutely terrifying? Oh my gosh. I really hope that if, like, you know, if Ferguson doesn't get disturbed before she goes to put that thing around Vera, then at least I hope somebody walks in and stops Vera from being choked to death. But I suppose whatever happens in this scene, this will be the moment when everyone's going to realise Ferguson is back. Thank you for your comment, and thank you all for your comments. If your comment didn't make this video, don't worry, maybe you'll feature in it next time. Okay guys, well thank you all for sticking around until the end of the video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon.